Sophie. We're in your visiting territory now.
We are, and Eliza is the first lady that I invited to the official residence in Canada when I was on the, non-official First Lady of Canada, and you made me feel so welcomed and with your unpretentious and grounded ways, and I'll never forget it. So now we're here on stage a couple of years later together, and I know that you are just coming back from the break, but you've been sitting a lot. I'm also a yoga and meditation teacher, and I would like us...
I am not, so we'll listen
so
to
you'll
Sophie
do it with
on
me.
This.
So everybody get up, phones down, come on. And I'm going to explain to you why we're doing this after. So please keep an open mind, an open heart, lower your expectations. Life would be so much easier if we could do that all the time.
If you want beginner level, follow me.
So everybody do a headstand. No. So everybody shake off from the hands first. Just shake it off. Shake it off, shake it off, shake it off. And watch your breath. Are you constricting your breath right now? Just make it spacious. Just let the breath do you. Don't try to control everything. We control all the time. Shake it out. Then shake out the legs too at the same time. Shake it out, shake it out. Doesn't matter if we look silly, we'll look silly together. And move everything, everything. Shake it out. Woo! 10, 9, 8, 7, more. 5,
Beginner
4,
level here, it's okay.
3, 2, 1. Sit back down. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. Try to not get your nervous system excited again. Close your eyes and just feel what happened. Where is it in your body? Just feel it. How in tune can you be with your breath right now and just observe what happened? And from here, you can keep your eyes closed, or if you don't want them closed, you can open them very gently with a soft gaze. And together, just for 5 breaths, we're going to breathe together. We are worthy of rest, and we're going to do this together. So we're going to inhale through the nose and sigh it out the mouth, making noise together. So inhale on a count of 1, 2, 3, 4. Sigh it out. Ah. Come on, people. I know you have more inside of you. Inhale nose. 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop it. Ah. Yes. Inhale. 4, 3, 2, 1. Let it go. Ah, last time, make it good and spacious. Inhale, 4, 3, 2, 1, let it go. Ah. Keep your eyes closed if they're closed and just sense for just another 5 seconds. See how your nervous system reacts. See the calm you created and just letting go of what doesn't serve you, just in 1 minute or 2. And the reason why we did this together is because I've been a mental health advocate, so has Eliza, for many years now. And I've learned that if we want to create more equality, if we want to create gender parity, if we want to end gender-based violence, if we want to create more equality in all areas of our lives, there is a neurobiological imperative in every single human being in this room and in every country and throughout the world. And those are 2 visceral needs, and we've talked about this before. They are attachment. How were you taken care of as a kid? How did your parent or your caregiver hold on to you, looked at you, fed you, validated your perception of who you were as a baby? This is all pre-verbal, 0 to 2 years old. I wrote a book about this called Together. And the way that you wired with your caregiver from 0 to 2 left a symphony, like a tone in your brain. This is the neurobiological imperative. This happens to every human being on earth. And that tone you carry in the way that you trust or distrust others for the rest of your life in all of your relationships. So if we want to create all this, we have to look at it from a mental health perspective. And our 2 most intrinsic needs are authenticity and attachment. And authenticity is the way that you express who you are without having to change your behaviors to please people. Excuse me, we all do it. We did it as kids to please our parents, and we do it still today to please people around us, to adapt. And we're living in really difficult circumstances, chaotic circumstances, where our brains and our bodies are completely in alert mode, and we have difficulty to adapt. So we have to be careful to stop pathologizing. Can you say it?
It's 4 p.m.
Yeah.
How do you say? No, I can't.
We have to stop
But
to
I know what you mean.
pathologize our conditions, because experts in science is now showing us that we are only responding. Our amygdala and our alert center in our brain is only responding to abnormal living circumstances. So if you look at election results, if you look at distress in schools, if you look at your teenagers, I have two, you will understand that there's a neurobiological imperative behind every single human being, and connection is key. And you have more to say about connection.
No, absolutely. And I think that's one of the important reasons why we're here today. I know that it's been wonderful hearing from lots of different inspiring speakers. But one of the really, really important things that we're doing here in person with each other is having the opportunity to make connections. You know, we heard earlier on this morning about how it's a unique environment when you can sort of naturally trust people when you're here around them. But both Sophie and I are also authors. We share a few other kind of common things about maybe having spouses in the public eye,
and good mischief, because we're both Canadian.
Well, indeed, indeed. And you know, we know that it's really, really important to be able to bring out these important stories. We've both written stories ourselves. And I think that every single one of us has an important story to be able to tell. Every single one of us has something extraordinary about our background that is going to help connect us with other people. And one of our jobs as leaders, all of us here in this room, is to be able to help bring out those stories for other people and to share those connections. Sophie and I, or you know, I often say this with me, I know you had a good career as a media personality in Quebec before perhaps hitting the national stage, but it's a very strange feeling, if I may speak for us, all of a sudden to be nationally known, potentially internationally known, because of who your spouse is. And becoming defined in relationship to someone else when you're a feminist, when you're an independent person, when you have your own ideas. And I think it's our jobs to be able to remind everyone that we have our own unique voices and we have something special to say, and we're not defined by other people, nor is anybody else. And I want to encourage all of you to remember that here today, to try to make those connections and bring together the important things, the unique things that separate us, so that we can help to bridge those different connections. You know, Maria Ressa spoke so wonderfully and so inspiringly earlier, both about everything that's going on in the online world, but I remember hearing her speak before as well, and she said that inspiration also spreads as quickly as anger in terms of motivations and these emotions. And in this day and age, that's so important, isn't it?
But if you want inspiration to spread as much as hate does, first of all, I interviewed specialists on dehumanization, and I've learned through writing my book that hate actually stems from a deep desire to connect that never took place. So trauma, if we were all to raise our hands here, who has had a very difficult experience or traumatic experience in their lives in this room?
Everyone.
And who has had, you know, trauma is not just something bad that happened to you, and I'm sorry if that's the case, but it's also something that you needed that never took place. That's also trauma. And I would like to know, when your trauma happened in your life, raise your hand if you talked about it to somebody in that moment or near that moment. I've been asking this question, so there was one person, two people who raised their hands, to rooms across the country and across the world. We need connection in order to heal. But if our nervous systems are completely in their sympathetic mode, which is your alert stress mode, if I had come on this stage to you today with a neutral face, but you're in your alert mode, you could have interpreted my facial expressions as aggressive and threatening. So think about the state of the world. Think about maybe the faces of leaders from across the world that you can think about that maybe look not too well emotionally regulated. So education, this call to action is about emotional literacy. Because if we want to create more equality, we need for human beings to be able to understand their biology. We teach kids, you know, geography, math, and French, and languages. It's all great. But if we don't know how our own nervous systems work and how to reset them, and by the way, what we did at the beginning was a vagus nerve exercise with the pranayama and the breathing. And your vagus nerve is the longest cranial nerve in your body, and it regulates almost all of your body functions. I didn't know this 5 years ago. So if we don't teach this to our kids, to our boys who are also growing in such a toxic definition of what it means to be a boy and a man, so they can understand their emotions better, think about the leaders that we will put onto this earth, and think about how if they are better well-regulated and they receive the other, because receiving this information that we want to do is not that easy when you're talking to somebody who is in their stress mode all the time. And the most unhappy human beings are the ones who cannot trust in the other. And the more fragile we are, the more threatened we are by others' difference. So thank you to the forum. Thank you to all the men and women here who are allies, because it's the only way we'll be able to actually look at our truth, which is inconvenient. It's not always fun to look at.
And to try to make these connections with everybody else who is here today, to meet new people, to be inspired by each other, which is so important, especially these days, to know that we can all leave this room, leave the city, leave this country, and go on and make a difference.
And share your stories, because every time you do, you let another being share theirs as well.
Yeah.
In safety and in love, be well.
Thank you.
Tack.